Then Shige?
In anime, we tend to overlook the side characters and the things that they do, so I'm gonna introduce you to Ritsu Kageyama. Ritsu Kageyama is personally one of my favorite characters in Mob Psycho 100, but I don't really see a lot of love being shown towards Ritsu, so this video is about him. Ritsu, like other anime characters, has a meaning to his name. The name Ritsu means law, commandment, discipline, and control, which is pretty ironic from what we've seen with Season 1 Ritsu. This rich guy was trying to invite Mob to the Awakening Lab, but mistaked Ritsu for Mob. Ritsu sees that the other kids have powers, but he's unimpressed, to say the least. This really brought to light how powerful Mob really is. Ritsu eventually went rogue and took a part in Shinji's big cleanup plan by performing immoral deeds and setting people up and, just getting them kicked out of school. The guilt that he felt and the bad things that he was doing eventually unlocked his Esper powers, though they weren't very strong. That's how Ritsu encountered Dimple. By Dimple possessing Ritsu, it allowed Ritsu to access more of his power. Dimple enhanced Ritsu's power, which in turn caused Ritsu to go into his emo phase, but give us a lot of great fucking content.
You just won't stop talking.
Oh?
Tell me, if I could control my powers on my own, would I be able to make you disappear?
Ritsu goes around terrorizing people and even fucking people up, like this group of people right here. Eventually, Ritsu gets straight up just destroyed by Taro, just tossed around. Well, not tossed around, but you know what I mean. Ritsu has to rethink his decision on life and wonders why he's so strong. And even like the wig.
I was surprised at how strong he was back there. Maybe it's because his brain's so developed. Could that coincide with his power level?
No, his brain's not huge. That was a wig.
Let's explain why Ritsu went down that path. He went down that path because of jealousy and also greed in a way. Ritsu is very jealous of Mob and entitled in a way that he wanted powers as well. He thought that he deserved them just because his brother also had them. No one should be entitled, not even in real life. It's not going to get you anywhere. You got to work for what you want. I know that's nothing profound, but it's just something I want to show you guys and tell you guys. So work hard for what you want and it'll come around, promise. I want to share a quote from Ritsu that really spoke to me. I will not judge you people, because I know now when people stray from the right path, there usually isn't an actual reason. It's like that even now. I'm facing enemies that lost all will to fight, and I'm moving for the sake of violence. There's no actual reason. This kind of freedom is strong. I'm much freer than all of you. Why? Because I've lost my limits. I've obtained loss. We talked about how Ritsu went rogue. Let's talk about what snapped him back into reality. Season 1, Episode 8. The fight versus Ritsu and the 7th Division guy. This fight really showed Ritsu what type of person Mob is. He's not just a lunk of Esper powers. Mob is a really good person, to the point where he didn't beat up the people that tried to hurt Ritsu. In fact, he got on the floor and pleaded for them to leave Ritsu alone. Ritsu does wonder why Mob doesn't just use his Esper powers to destroy them, but that's not the type of person Mob is. The 7th Division Claw guy comes down and starts beating Ritsu's ass until Mob gets mad and steps in and starts fighting back. The claw guy starts beating down on Mob until Mob goes 100% and just starts fucking him up.
こんなの初めてだ。わかるか。ああ、僕の敵。
Claw 7th Division arc. Ritsu meets Sho here. Sho at this time was a mysterious character that we didn't really know. Ritsu let the other telepath kids go so he could fight Sho one-on-one, and he got his ass beat. By the way, I get all my information from Mob Psycho Wiki, so check that out. And it literally says Ritsu gets his ass beat. I feel like this would go a lot differently nowadays because Ritsu has Ritsu 100%, so that would actually be like a close battle, or Ritsu would just destroy him. In the World Domination arc, Ritsu didn't really do much. He fought Shimazaki, but he didn't really do much. He just got his ass beat again. You see that time and time again, then he gets his ass beat, but that does make him stronger. The moment that stands out to me a lot is whenever Ritsu went against Mob form, and then Ritsu went Ritsu 100. Some people say Mob was going easy on him. I could see that, but it's still impressive what Ritsu did with his 100% form. I feel like if Ritsu really does train hard, he could be maybe on par with Mob a little bit. It really wouldn't be crazy to say that or think that. Alright, and the question of the day is, who the fuck is Mob's mom and dad? Like, are they Espers too? We know they're not Espers, they're normal people, but like, why is Mob and Ritsu so fucking strong? I don't understand. No one else could go to 100%. Facts about Ritsu. Alright, I'm gonna fill you guys in with some facts about Ritsu that I know. Ritsu's birthday is the 2nd of July. His age is 13. His height is 5'2" and he weighs 100 pounds. His blood type is B. His zodiac sign is Cancer and his Chinese zodiac is Rabbit. He first debuted in the manga in chapter 10 and first debuted in the anime in episode 1. Ritsu only has 2 known powers, telekinesis and Ritsu 100%, but assuming he's the same as Mob, he could probably do the same things Mob can. Ritsu's hobby is writing in his diary. Ritsu's favorite foods are tofu and boiled pork, and his least favorite food is pork feet. Apparently, Ritsu barely listens to music, but his favorite movie genre is human dramas. Despite being hard to get close to, Ritsu has a lot of secret fans. Ritsu is very similar to Swearyu from One's other work, One Punch Man, as they both have similar faces, hairstyles, and they want to live free lives. Ritsu's English dub voice actor Max Middleman also voices Saitama, the main character of One's other manga, One Punch Man. Ritsu would prefer to study indoors during summer break and occasionally be tempted by Mob to do things like buying a t-shirt at a local volume retailer. Alright, that's everything you need to know about Ritsu Kageyama. I'm gonna try this new thing where I answer one of your guys' questions at the end of each video. Okay, the question we're answering today: can Sasuke beat Goku? And my take on that is probably, because time travel is OP, reality warping is OP. It should definitely be up for discussion. That's all I'm gonna say. Today I want to shed some light on Hanazawa, or Teru. As we all know, the theme with the villains in Mob is that they start off bad but they turn good. But Hanazawa has quite literally had one of the best character developments.
Your rival!
Not only has Teru evolved as an Esper, but also as a person. He's similar to Mob, but unlike Mob, he could show emotions. He's not as powerful as Mob, of course, but his ability to adapt and just assess the situation is incredible.
He reacted. If I destroy those...
When we first see Teru, he's attacking the Body Improvement Club and even Mob. Mob doesn't fight back because what Regan told him: never hurt other humans with your Esper powers.
Depending on how we choose to use them, they can also be deadly weapons. They're just the same as knives. And you know what not to do with them, right?
Teru doesn't listen to Mob and continues his barrage of attacks on Mob. It doesn't really do that much damage on Mob because, you know, he's super OP. Eventually, Dimple steps in and tries to save him, but, you know, he just gets one-tapped. We see Teru attacking Mob relentlessly inside the school. He wants Mob to fight back. As you guys could tell, Teru has a bit of a superiority complex. This is where you see Regan's actually a really great master. Whenever Regan told Mob that he's not special because he has Esper powers, that really resonated with Mob to the point where he wasn't using it against other people, or he didn't think he was higher than other people. He didn't grow a superiority complex. If anything, Mob thought he was under other people. And this is where having someone by your side and someone to mentor you is very important. Someone just to be there for you. Because without them, you could end up like the Mogamis. You could end up like the Terus. You could end up like the Suzukis. You could end up like the Serizawas. Teru eventually throws Mob through a couple of walls. Mob deflects one of Teru's hits and hits him straight in the head, which makes him go bald. And then he starts choking out Mob. Mob tries to punch him, but it doesn't work because Mob isn't physically strong. Teru eventually knocks Mob out by choking him. For the people who watch the Mogami vs Suzuki video, yes, I understand Teru made Mob go question mark form too. But what you don't get is they did it in two completely different ways. Teru knocked him out, and Mogami overwhelmed him with his mass amount of power. Mob couldn't handle that, so he was forced to go into question mark form. If you compare Mob getting choked to this right here, you're a little crazy, but I digress. Mob goes into question mark form and starts throwing everything in the air. He destroys the whole building and even throws Teru straight up in the air. But we see Teru is, you know, being all crazy and stuff.
That's enough, I'm sorry! I won't do it again, please!
This fight right here infected Teru in a great way, very heavily. Teru took a full 180. He realizes that he's not special, and he realizes that he's not strong at all. Teru becomes a friend of Mob, and he thinks pretty highly of Mob. But who wouldn't, to be honest? Mob has all this power, and he doesn't use it or like abuse it like Teru did. You could tell Teru was horrible for what he did.
Take away our psychic powers, and we're nothing more than...
Kageyama!
He gets this wig right here, which is hilarious. One of my favorite scenes with Teru is right here when he meets Ritsu, and he just like just straight up destroys him and teaches him like who's the boss.
Don't try to fight him! Let go now!
Having trouble standing, are you? You're so young.
This is a really underrated moment because it shows how Ritsu was going down the wrong path, just like Teru was. Here's another moment I like to highlight. Teru vs Shizumaki.
Don't flatter yourself. There are people in this world with abilities you can't even fathom. You're not that special at all.
Teru doesn't only say this to Shiz, but he says it to himself. You probably imagine this is what Teru is thinking all the time. In this fight versus Shiz, Teru gets bodied. He gets hit left and right along with the other like 8 people. Oh, it's horrible. But it wasn't as horrible as it could have been. Teru adapted very quickly and even found out Shiz's plan, how he's working, how he's operating.
Oh, it looks like if he can't detect the attack in advance, then he can't stop it. He's the one who's been cornered here.
He starts predicting Shiz's attacks, which isn't any low feat.
And it's really simplistic. You rely too much on your powers.
Because Shiz could predict your attacks, so you predicting his attacks is even crazier. Teru does eventually lose, but he never lost, like he didn't go down. I want to clear the air here. Teru does not beat Shiz, not even in Season 3. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know why people are talking about like, oh, Teru could beat Shiz in Season 3. No, he cannot, okay? It wouldn't be close. Yes, Teru has learned a lot. Yes, Teru is very strong now, but to the point of Shiz, I don't think so. People like to say that Teru moves at light speed now. That's not faster than teleporting. It's not. Teleporting is instant, light speed takes time still. Well, in Teru's case at least, because his moving at light speed is a move that he uses.
So I flew over at the speed of light. not a bad trick, huh?
He doesn't move at light speed all the time. I can make this a whole separate video, or I can say it right now, so I'm just gonna say it right now. If Teru had prep time, he could win, I could see it. But if he doesn't, he's going to lose. As soon as Shiz turns on Mind's Eye, it's over. We've seen him knock out 8 people at the same time. This would just be Teru, and if he's focusing just on one person, his Mind Eyes become even stronger. Teru versus Mob fight. In this fight, it shows you how much Teru has grown again. Not only did he put the lives of other people before his, he was completely happy doing so. Which is something that old Teru would never do. Old Teru was selfish. Old Teru didn't care about other people. Teru's ability to copy people's moves is also insane. He copied the whip, he copied pyrokinesis. Teru's one of the best characters in Mob Psycho, and if he's not your favorite side character, what are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. Especially whenever he picks out the best outfits ever. You know what's strange to me? Does he just intentionally screw over Mob, or is it like, is he not like meaning to? Because I never see Teru wearing those shitty outfits, but he always gives them to Mob. I wonder if that's on purpose. If that is on purpose, that'd be a little weird and out of like character for Teru, but it would be pretty funny. Comment some animes you guys want me to check out, and Teru's a top character, and that's gonna do it for this video. Watch this video if you want to see what's best for you. Zoinkies, that was a scary dream. A shrine thing destroyed the whole... What the Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 gave us a lot more Sukuna, and oh boy, was it brutal. Sukuna gets his body back and he is starting shit as soon as he wakes up, cutting off the man that brought him back to life's arm. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you. Sukuna's then like, you know what, little volcano dude, as a reward for bringing me back, I'ma beat your ass. I mean, I'ma fight you, and if you hit me once, I'll do whatever you want. And Jago's like, well, that shouldn't be, too hard. Sukuna then puts Gojo through one of the most brutal beatdowns I've ever seen in anime. He insults him, uses the one thing he thought was special about him against him, and even spits on his grave. But this is pretty heartwarming.
I fought humans, sorcerers, and cursed spirits 1,000 years ago, and you were still one of the better ones I fought. Stand proud. You are strong.
After Sukuna gets done with his toy, he meets an old friend. We see Sukuna excited to see his best bud again, but wait, he senses something is wrong. His dog Megumi was dying, so Sukuna saves him, along with the blonde hair guy, by a hair, and sees the thing he's been so interested in, Maharaga. And it's on go with them, Sukuna getting hit with the blade that would have even killed him if he was a cursed spirit. Sukuna lets Maharaga throw him around just to test what he got. Then he throws cleaves and dismantles, until he realizes that something's off. He's healing from these attacks fast. No, he's not healing. He's adapting. That's when Sukuna comes to the realization that Maharaga can adapt to anything, which makes him real excited.
You can see it, Maharaga! You can see my curse technique!
So he tests Maharaga and pops the domain expansion, Malevolent Kitchen, which destroys the whole city and unalives everybody. The Maharaga walks right through the strongest attack in JJK right now like a badass until he falls to his knees and Sukuna finishes him off with the black box. Then Sukuna ends his reign of terror with putting Guji through unbelievable pain. Suzuki is the main villain in the famous anime and manga of Mob Psycho 100, animated by Bones. Suzuki is a character that was coincidentally born in the same city as Mob, Seasoning City, and with the same Esper powers as Mob. But unlike Mob, Suzuki used his powers to get an upper hand in life. He didn't care who he had to hurt, he didn't care who he had to step on. Suzuki lived his life smoothly. Everything he did worked in his favor, and he never regretted anything or looked back once on any of his decisions. At Mob's age, Suzuki beat everyone at everything. Unlike Mob, he used his powers as an advantage. He didn't care if it was unfair, as long as he got what he wanted. And he did in fact get what he wanted. That's what makes his character so interesting. It's like, what if Mob uses powers just to be better than everyone, And that's what Suzuki is, and that's what makes him so cool. He's definitely one of my favorites. I don't know what it is, he's just so fucking cool, except the beating kids part. Through Suzuki's whole life, he didn't feel any sympathy for other people. Hell, he didn't even care about his family. Suzuki traveled the world storing power for his plan at world domination. I wonder how he did that. He killed them. It reminds me of Mogami. He just sucked all the ghost up, but I wonder what fucking Suzaku did. The 20 years of power, and he was still able to not look all fucked up. That just scary. That just shows how strong he actually was. Because if you guys remember in the last video, Morgami, he looked all fucked up when he was absorbing all those fucking spirits and shit. He looked like he was straight off of meth or coke or some shit like that. Somewhere on the line, Suzaku created a criminal organization called the Claw. Suzaku returned to his hometown to start his world domination plan after his 7th division got demolished. He has zero feelings for his hometown. He doesn't even remember his childhood there, so he destroys his hometown with like no remorse. Suzuki has the ability to share his powers with the 700 people in his organization, which is fucking crazy. He's great at manipulating people, as shown with Serizawa when he convinced him to join Claw, even though that's completely against his morals. Suzaku fought and inevitably lost to Mob. People have this misconception that this was the first time he lost, but that is not the case. The actual first time Suzaku lost was in his flashback.
Goodbye.
What happened? When did I?
His wife leaves him and disappears, and for the first time in his life, Suzaku's power didn't make someone believe in him. In fact, it did the opposite. It made them upset at him. I know I said he always gets what he wants, but this time that is not the case. As we see, he dwells on that a lot. He even regrets it. Throughout the whole show, he never had intentions to kill his son. That shows that he actually does care somewhat for him. Yeah, he beat him up and shit, but come on, it was pranks. Pranks!
Dad, no!
Stay up.
He tells his son that he's sorry that he's not able to see his mother anymore because of his actions, but to his surprise, his son has been in contact with his mom. Suzaku holds his hand like Mob did previously and says,
People need other people. Huh.
I actually rewatched Mob, and I don't see why people don't talk about him a lot. He's so fucking cool. Suzaku just like carried the 2nd season. He just to the point where I was just waiting to see Mob fight him. Because whenever he like blasted Regan straight in the fucking face and Mob got all mad, which like it triggered Mob into like the question mark form.
Those who don't understand the feelings of others. What's the point? Some people have to learn the hard way.
Or I don't know if he was in question mark form, but he was like beating his ass and shit, and he was like, I could use all my power and all my rage, and he was like fucking him up. I was like, oh my god, that shit got me hyped. I was low-key squilling. I should start reacting to videos on it. Comment below if you guys want to see that. In Mob, they always have people do this compelling thing where they're not only fighting an outside battle, but also like an inside battle. Like, I made a video about that with Mob, but the same thing's happening with this character. They're literally like polar opposites. Suzaku's mind is just so fucked up, but at the same time, with all this ego and all this going on, he still cared about his family at the end of the day. He was still thinking about them, and he was still just like dwelling on the past. You could tell he really did care about his wife, because whenever he saw her walk out, he was like, what? Someone actually walked out on me in my life? But I have power. And I think in that moment, he actually didn't realize that power wasn't everything. And also because Mob, beat his ass. And that's where our story ends for Zaku. Unless... Spoiler warning! Alert, alert, alert! No. Now that we're here, I'm giving you guys another warning. This is going to be spoilers. We're getting to the manga a little bit. Suzaku does get redemption, and it honestly breaks my heart how he tried to save his own son by giving up his own life or health. If I may remind you, this is the same guy who's only lived his entire life for himself. And at this time, he's going against, like, question mark Mob. And he has no power. All of his power was drained. So he's just like a normal-ass guy. But even then, he still loved his son to the point where he would die for him. I shed a fucking tear. I don't want to go too in-depth. I didn't go too deep in the manga because, I don't want to get completely spoiled for me. The animation is going to be sick. And if anybody wants to, like, draw me a profile picture, it could even be on paint. I don't really care. But yeah, that's going to be the video. Like and subscribe and watch this video if you want to see a sidekick that turned evil. What exactly is question mark Mob? First, we must look at normal Mob and what's so special about him. Mob is a very special kid that doesn't like to show his emotions at all, due to the incident that happened when Ritsu and Shigeo Kageyama were kids.
It hurts, brother.
Mob lost control of his powers and ended up hurting Ritsu. Because of this, Mob shunned his powers and refuses to use them frequently, in turn creating the subconscious manifestation of Mob's boundless psychic power, which Mob represses in order to make him seem normal. It's important to note that Shigeo Kageyama and Mob aren't necessarily the same people, Shigeo Kageyama being the person that Mob represses, which we all know as question mark Mob. I see people say that Mob has multiple personality disorders, and I think that's pretty spot on. As we see here, it has to do with childhood trauma, which Mob has a lot of experience in. Dissociative identity disorder disorder is a mental process which produces a lack of connection in a person's thoughts, memories, feelings, actions, or sense of identity. And we do see that time and time again, especially in Season 3, it highlights that a lot. We see this with something as simple as his name, Mob in Shigeo Kageyama. Shigeo Kageyama using the nickname Mob to truly mask the person that he really is. Or should I say he masked the uncertainty of who he is. One of the most things people are afraid of is the unknown, but it's when you discover and conquer that fear is when you can truly overcome it. We see this prevalent whenever we were all little kids overcoming the fear of darkness, but in Shigeo Kageyama's case, he never conquered the fear of the dark. So instead of Mob trying to figure out why he had this problem and how he could fix it, he just did his best to avoid it. Mistakes do happen and you need to make mistakes to improve as a person. You can imagine though that Mob holds himself to a different standard than all of us. A simple mistake to him could destroy the whole city or even the whole world. So you could see how Mob's best action was just to avoid it, which really highlights the beauty of Season 3. It forces Mob to face his problems head on and to stop putting up this image of Mob and actually show off who he really is, Shigeo Kageyama. Even Shigeo Kageyama knows that Mob isn't truly the real him. He's a fake. Shigeo Kageyama is Mob's conscious, so you could say he's talking to himself when he says this line right here.
僕は影山茂雄。ああ、モブか。偽物の僕。偽物はそっちだ。
In the Keiji Mogami arc, we saw question mark Mob's true form. When fighting Mogami, Mob's vessel broke, showing us Mob's true power, Shigeo Kageyama.
Once your vessel has been completely shattered, that is what remains.
Being depicted as some scribbly black lines with some ominous aura. We also see how Mob depicts question mark by his white eyes. Mob's question mark forms the embodiment of his power and past self that he sealed away. The ending of Season 3 showed that Mob was ready to accept question mark as a part of himself despite feeling fear of rejection from Tsubomi. Question mark eventually became one with Mob, signifying Mob's acceptance of his psychic powers and more importantly his willingness to love himself. So hopefully that cleared things up for you guys, and comment what you think question mark form Mob is. And watch this video if you want to see one of my most beloved videos about Ritsu.